Hi, I'm Raisa, this is Rosie, and together we're going to lead you through a short baby and me yoga sequence. Practicing with a baby, as you can see, is not always easy. You have to have the right timing, baby has to be in the right mood, and all the circumstances seem to have to line up before you can make time for a really calm and effective practice. But with a few, simple techniques, an adaptable mindsets, and some careful planning, it can be a really fun and effective way to bond with your baby, but also make time for some mindful movement. So we're going to get started by settling our babies. Maybe they have a little bit of energy like Rosie here, and try to allow the calmness of our own presence resonate with our babies and get off to a good start. So start in a comfortable seat. All you need today is a mat, and a couple of blocks might help you to move into some positions later on. You can also sit onto a block as we get started in the grounding meditation. So just take a deep breath, sigh out any excess energy, any stress that you have brought with you onto this mat. Just let it go. And take this moment to pay attention to not only your breath, but your state of mind. Noticing the qualities of your breath, whether it's shallow, is it deep? Is there space for your breath to find length? Just observing what your breath or your body needs without changing it right away, without judgment. And now pay attention to the sound of your breath. Is there any space as you breathe in and out through your nose? Allowing that breath to travel through the back of your throat, sealing it off slightly. Finding that slight whisper sound at the back of your throat. In through the nose, sitting tall. Out through the nose. Imagine that breath grounding down through your spine to your sit bone. And notice if this has any effect on your baby. Now you see Rosie's quieted down. And along with the length of your breath, traveling up and down your spine, see if you can notice an expansion of your breath, pressing out through the rib cage in all directions, and hugging it back in. Also inwards in all directions. Outwards with the inhale. Let the chest, the belly, the rib cage puff out, filling up like a balloon. And imagine this balloon shape taking all 360 directions, so not only forward and back and out, but also up and down. So imagine also your pelvic floor lowering down as you inhale, finding a relaxation. And as your ribs contract in, the back of your ribs pull towards your spine, maybe your pelvic floor can lift as well, feeling this compression, this gentle tightness, everything coming into a smaller ball. Take a few more rounds in your own breath. Maybe you can use your baby's body as feedback as your ribs expand outwards towards them. And come back together. Maybe as your ribs come closer towards you, your baby hugs in as well. Take one more full inhale, ribs press out in 360 directions. Pelvic floor lowers and relaxes. And then the ribs come in, the pelvic floor lifts. Take a moment to set your intention for this practice, acknowledging that your practice might not look the same as before having a baby. It might not be as intense or as long as before, and that's okay. Even just being here present, your effort stepping onto the mat is already a really great step in this journey of parenthood. Set an intention of responding mindfully to your baby's needs whenever they need to be fed, to have a diaper change, or to be soothed in any way. You can always take a pause of this video and give your baby what they need. And start to blink your eyes open, gazing down to your baby, down to the tip of your nose. You continue another lengthening breath in as you sit tall. Exhale, relax the shoulders down, feel grounded. One more inhale sits you a little bit taller. Feel the crown of your head reaching high. And on the exhale, bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Coming back through center, standing tall. Exhale, left ear to your left shoulder. Inhale back through center. Exhale, right ear to your right shoulder. And then draw your chin in. Take these little neck rolls from one direction all the way to the left shoulder. And all the way back and up if that feels good for you. Maybe it's a bit tighter in this direction. Right ear meets back to the right shoulder. And take another full round. Chin to your chest, ear to your shoulder, and all the way back. Once you meet your right ear to your shoulder again, roll it all the way back and up. Slow down at any point where you feel you want to explore that space or lack thereof, and try to invite more of it with the breath. One more full circle until the left ear meets over to the left shoulder, and we'll pause there before bringing the head back over the shoulders. Nice long spine. Holding your baby with your left hand, we're going to reach the right arm up and over ear. Exhale, leaning over to your left side. Inhale, arm reaches back up nice and tall. Exhale, bend your elbow and open your chest out to the right side. So you're facing the right edge of your mat. Elbow is going to press back. Shoulders are going to press back. Make it really muscular and active. Inhale, reach that right arm back towards the ceiling. And one more time, leaning over to the left side. Exhale. Inhale, lifting up, reaching up, maybe gazing towards the hands before you take one more cactus arm, pressing that right shoulder, right elbow back and opening the chest, sitting tall in the spine. One more time, let's reach the right arm up and pause there. You're going to look down towards your left knee and place your right hand down on top of it. Use that as leverage to sit taller. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, gently twist to your left side. Inhale back through center. Find a neutral spine. Maybe switch your hands with your baby. Yep. And adjust anything you need. Little wardrobe check. There we go. All right, we're going to hold the baby firmly with our right hand, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side using the left arm. So inhale, reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, nice side stretch, leaning over to the right. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, bend the left elbow, open the chest, press your shoulder and your elbow back. Make it really active and muscular. As you sit tall on the inhale, try to deepen on the exhale. Inhale, reaching the left arm up again. Exhale, leaning over to your right side. Maybe going a little bit deeper this time. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, one more cactus arm. Open the shoulder, press the shoulders back along with the elbow. Inhale, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Look down to your right knee. Place your left hand on top of it. And then lengthen your spine as you sit tall. Inhale before gently twisting over to your right side. Look over your right shoulder if you feel stable. And then let's inhale, release the arm back up and down. You're going to just hold your baby equally if that feels good. Lengthening your feet just a little bit further out. You're going to find these butterfly feet as the feet are together. Maybe the knees can lengthen down. You can always use props underneath, but we're only here for a short moment as we sit tall. Try to find a long spine. As the sit bones ground down, you're going to lengthen the crown of the head high. And maybe with your baby folding over as well, you can adjust them as you need. You're just going to hinge over them, making them nice and snuggled in underneath your chest. Nice that she's trying to press back her back against my chest. This is a nice connection and a nice little resistance into my fold. Inhale, sitting tall. We're going to do one more time. You can keep the baby where they are. I'm just going to show you a different position, or if she lets me, she's grabbing the bottom of the ankles of my leggings. Another option is you can turn the baby around so their head is resting onto the feet. Maybe Rosie will cooperate. She will just lay gently down. Take your time with the transitions. The baby is also trying to find grounding and a sense of calm, so make sure you match that energy. So you can kind of bring their knees in as you fold forward. Maybe adjust your stance so that they can find a nice position, or she's kicking out towards me. So it's going to find length as the baby's legs stretch. And as you move in, her knees are going to move in as well, folding over. Inhale, lengthening back, stretching their legs gently. And then exhale, bringing the knees in, leaning the chest towards them. One more time, stretching back. And then exhale, leaning your chest forward, opening the chest as you fold. Maybe their legs can straighten as well. Whatever your baby wants to do with their legs, make it natural, make it intuitive. And we're going to sit up nice and tall again. So gently, we're going to transition onto all fours. And you can place your baby down kind of at the top of your mat if you're not already there. They're basically going to be in a place where we can hover over them in the tabletop position. So laying back, maybe support their head, especially depending if they're younger, then you'll need a lot of support there, or maybe a little blanket or pillow to keep them supported. So the palms of the hands are going to be just framing their shoulders. You can start to wag your tail from side to side as you find your tabletop position. And what I find in yoga with my baby, it really helps to interact with them, so making eye contact, moving their limbs whenever it feels natural and can kind of be a little bit playful with my movements. So we're gonna see how we respond to Rosie today, and feel free to take any movements that you need for your baby. Yeah. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna extend the left leg back. You can point the toes down to feel stable. Try to pull your ribs and your core in. Think about that 360 breath we did in the beginning of class. First, let's try that. Inhaling, open the chest, open the ribs. Imagine them expanding in a 360 direction like a balloon, your belly lowering to the ground. Exhale, hug it all in. Rosie, what was that? We're going to pull the belly in, lift. And then inhale, lower the belly down. Nice. Exhale one more time, pulling everything in. That balloon is getting smaller. The belly button is getting closer to the spine, and the shoulders are protracting as you're pressing strongly into your palms. Now keep this engagement of the core, this nice exhalation. And then you're going to lift the heel. If you feel stable in your core, you're going to lift the heel, pointing the toes down. You can point the toes once you feel your hips are level, and just take little circles with your leg behind you. Really try to keep your core stable. Yes. And slowly find length, find stillness. If this feels good, you can tend onto your right fingertips and maybe reaching the right fingertips all the way forward. Try to keep, again, the belly button pulled in towards the spine, fingertips reaching in opposite direction of the toes. And then we're gonna crunch it in for one. You can skip the crunches if staying grounded with your foot or hand is enough. Maybe your baby doesn't want you to reach the arm and you can just hold it in the air like this. Or maybe your baby wants to extend his arm up with you. You can try to play around with any kind of movement that feels natural and also gives you a little challenge as you stabilize on one leg and maybe one hand. Yes. One more extension with or without your baby's arm. Just grabbing their little fingers and holding, crunching it in. And then slowly replace the right hand down. The left foot extends. From here, we're gonna bend the left knee, pointing the toes up. Bringing the left knee over to the left armpit for one. Extend it back. Long spine for two. Towards the left elbow, maybe towards the armpit if you can go higher. And then one more time, reaching back, coming back forward, knee to your elbow, flex your foot, and step outside of your left pinky. So we're just in this shorter kind of low lunge. You can take little circles with your hips. Keep eye contact with your baby if they like that. And if your baby's at a stage where they like to play with toys or they can entertain themselves and be distracted, by all means, you can keep them off to the side of the mat with a blanket or a towel, whatever works well for them, with some toys that might keep them a bit occupied. Especially if you're doing your own self-practice, this can give you more time to focus inwards. So we're gonna pause with the hips back, straightening that front leg into half splits, looking towards your baby, maybe kind of hiding behind their legs, and coming back forward. She's excited for me to come forward over her. We're gonna try that one more time, sinking the hips back, hiding a little bit from them, and then coming back forward, eye contact again, smile to your baby. Yeah. From here, let's try to reverse out of this with strength and control. Press strong to the arms, protract the shoulders, squeeze the heel to the bum, and extend it back. Coming back into tabletop position, wiggle your tail. You can bring the knees a little bit wider than the hips as you sink all the way back to child's pose. Hide all the way down, maybe behind your baby's hips. And then coming all the way forward, say peekaboo. Yeah. Sinking back, hiding, lowering down your forehead, and then coming back forward, peekaboo. I do this so much with her, it's not news anymore. She knows what to expect. One more time. Yeah. Tuck the toes under. That's a little giggle, a little smile. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So first we can stabilize the toes if you feel like you need to build up towards it, especially if you're recovering from postpartum. And when you're ready, we're going to lift the heel, try to keep the toes pointing down, level the hips. And once you feel that control, you can point your toes and draw little circles with the hips, stabilizing through the core. Keep breathing, moving with the breath. And if you feel good here, find a nice stillness in this three-legged tabletop, coming onto the fingertips of your left hand. And if you feel really stable, you can lengthen your left fingertips. Baby might follow her gaze to yours. And exhale, crunch it in optionally 3 times. 1. Inhale, extend. Option to grab your baby's hands and extend their arms with you. 2. Even if they don't extend with you, holding their hand is still a little form of balancing your weight on your right hand. And then 1 more crunch for 3. Inhale to extend. Lower your left hand down. Exhale, bring your right knee to your right elbow, shifting forward slightly. Inhale, extend it back. Exhale, knee to your left elbow, maybe higher to your right armpit, your right. Inhale, extend, and 1 more time, knee to your right armpit. See if you can squeeze, close the distance between your knee and your armpit. Flex your foot and step next to your right pinky. Take little circles, open up the hips. Make it fluid, make it intuitive. Keep smiling at your baby if they are enjoying it. Yeah. I should have mic'd up my baby as well. That would be fun. I think you can probably hear her pretty clearly with all the spits and all of this expression. She's learning to use her voice. So just enjoy that and play with it. So when you're ready again, 2 times half split, sending the hips back, maybe bowing the head so you're hiding from them. And coming back forward, big smile. Exhale, sending the hips back for half splits. Coming forward again, smile. Yeah. Let's come back again. Holds. And back forward. Smiling. Pressing strong, protracting the shoulders. Squeeze the right heel to the bum. Extend it back and replace your right knee down. We're going to sink the hips 1 more time to child's pose. And this time when we come forward, we're going to press the forearms down. Think about gliding the chest as you keep the forearms down and smiling, creeping up to your baby. Maybe they're touching your face. Give them a little kiss, little chuckle. Sending your hips back again. We're going to do this 2 more times. The head can come down as you lose eye contact with the baby, only to gain it back again. Driving the forearms down, coming back to your baby, lifting the elbows as you come here. Little kiss. Yeah, 1 more time. Lowering the forearms, relaxing the head, and then sliding your chest forward. Stay low as you can until the elbows lift and you come forward and you give a little kiss. Yeah. All right, we're going to readjust our stance. The hands are still kind of in line with your baby's shoulders. We're going to tuck the toes under, hover the knees just a few centimeters off the ground. And here, it's really important to keep your navel in, keeping a nice strong core and nice form. Inhale, send your hips up and back. Keep gaze with your baby until you relax the head all the way down. Shake it yes and no. Pedal out the feet if you like. We're just here for a moment. Don't worry, baby. And when you're ready on the inhale, look between your hands. You can take a few little steps to walk just behind your wrists, lifting the chest halfway. Exhale, folding forward, shaking out your head. Maybe you have some hair to wave onto the baby's face as you nod your head forward and back. Relax it left and right. And give them another smile as you look up. We're going to bring the backs of the hands underneath the feet. So stepping the palms onto the feet onto the palms, maybe wiggling the toes to relax. Massage the wrists. You can bend your knees as much as you need to find your palms flat, don't worry. Wiggle the hips left and right. And we're gonna slowly wiggle the hips all the way back until we sink down. Reassure your baby that you're still here in Malasana squat. If they need another position, by all means, give them that. Rosie these days loves to stand and walk around, so we're gonna give her a little bit of that. She's also enjoying this microphone, so we're gonna make sure she doesn't grab it. Just shift your hips from left to right in Malasana. Either the baby is down or the baby is dancing around in any direction. Taking your time here. And slowly, when you're ready, if you can safely come up with your baby, you can do it step by step in any way that you need to. But if you feel like you have the strength to lift your baby on your shoulder and slowly lift your hips, coming all the way up to Tadasana, mountain pose. If it feels safe, you can slowly shift your baby to face the front of the mat with you. I'm just gonna face this way so you can see how we're setting it up. So this is always a nice position, getting the arm across the body and the hand underneath the hips, especially if they're smaller. Rosie is just almost outgrowing that now that she's getting heavier, but so far we can stand up like this. So relax the shoulders, standing up nice and tall. And try to feel the weight grounding down through the base of your feet, all four corners. You can stand hip width apart, or if you feel you have more balance, you can bring your feet together, toes together. Just like we did seated, try to find that sense of calm, sitting, standing tall as you breathe in. Imagine that breath traveling up through your spine, through the crown of your head, sitting and standing a little bit taller. And exhale, imagine that breath traveling down the base of your spine all the way to the base of your feet, all the way down to the roots of the earth. And from the top of your mat, so I was showing you here, we're going to just gently, so if the baby is in your left hand, you're gonna step the right foot just as far back as you can still find balance and try to sink down into your hips, bending into your left knee. Try to wiggle your right heel back to keep that heel over the toes in your high lunge. If this is enough for you, you can, or if this is too much for you, you can take it back into low lunge with the knee down. Sinking into the hips to make it more open in the front of the hip. And maybe taking just a little partial half split back as you straighten that front leg. Coming back forward. And as the baby sits on your knee or your thigh, this can be a little bit more supportive so you're not carrying so much weight. So especially if your right knee is down, this can reduce the weights that you need to carry. Just take one more forward and then tuck the tailbone under to stand nice and tall. You can always put the baby down if it's too much weight, but if you feel like this is a good position and you can transition out of it, we're going to lift that back knee if it's not already back, lean forward a little bit, try to keep the weight in your front leg, high off the back toes, and bring your right foot to meet the left, sink into your chair for just a moment, and stand all the way up, getting ready to switch sides as your right hand supports your baby, and getting ready to kind of come off of the weight of your left toes, slowly stepping it back, maybe one step at a time, or finding your high lunge sooner or later. Set up your baby so they're sitting on top of your thigh, just close to your body, so they're really well supported. Stay high in your lunge or slowly lower that left knee down. Making it slower is going to add more challenge, so take whatever you need. Sinking the hips forward as you open the chest. And then coming back as we sink the hips back and straighten that leg slightly. You don't have to take a full half splits because this might be intense with the weight already. You can just take a little gentle straightening of the front leg and back. Just take one more full round forward. And tucking the tailbone in, sitting tall in your lunge. Prepare as you tuck those back toes, lift the back knee off the ground and straighten the leg. We're going to lean forward, keeping the weight in that front leg as we come light on the left toes and step it next to the right, sink into a chair and stand all the way up. So I'll face you again, but you can stay at the top of your mats to find just one standing balance. Again, this is a really short sequence just to give you some ideas, but we're going to kind of lean into the right foot, standing strong, lean into the left foot as well. Notice the weight distribution and the strength of your thighs and how they're staying active and shifting from one side to the other. So if your baby was still in your right hand, I'm here with her in my right hand. So I'm going to lift my left heel off the ground. Find a nice rotation as the knee comes out. You can take this a few times to warm up, to open the hips. And once you find a nice opening, we can keep the knee out to the left side. Staying here as the foot rests against the right ankle, keeping this modified tree pose. Or you can work it up by pressing the foot into the calf and the calf pressing back into the foot, really grounding through that standing leg to stay strong in our modified tree pose. This is probably enough if you're holding the baby, but for anybody who is feeling really strong or flexible, you can bring the foot kind of on the inner thigh, but try to avoid pressing onto the knee to avoid unnecessary pressure there. Try to relax the shoulders even with the hold of your baby. Make sure you're strong enough to hold them safely. And then slowly lift the foot off of the knee. Maybe you can float it in space. Otherwise, by all means, keep your toes on the ground. We're going to bring the left knee towards the chest. Again, toes down is fine. And only if you feel safe, you can point the toes and just extend the leg forward. Feel like your left hip, the floating leg, is pulling back in towards your hip socket. And maybe you can lift a little bit higher as that standing leg presses further down. Slowly release. Just lean from side to side. And all we're going to do is switch sides. We're just going to keep it simple today so we can have a short flow that you could squeeze into the middle of your day. Again, this is just a starting point. Maybe you can have some other ideas to build up onto it. Again, we're going to lift the opposite heels this time. For me, it's my right heel. Baby is in my left hand. Knee is just getting ready to come up, but first out. So taking these little circles with your knee, you can choose to do so in the air if you're feeling like you want a little challenge with your balance. Otherwise, keep the toes down. Hold the knee out to the side. Press your foot in towards your ankle. And either stay here, a nice stable base in your tree pose, or press your foot in towards your calf back into your foot, and open the chest. Don't forget to stand tall with your breath. Don't worry, Rosie, we're almost there. Take it a little higher if you need to, avoiding any unnecessary pressure on your knee. Keep opening that thigh back, the one that's floating in your tree. And then slowly, maybe with the knee floating a little bit higher, we're going to lift the foot off of the leg, bring the knee back through center, and if it feels good, you can extend the right leg, float it forward, pull the hip back into the socket and lift it a bit higher. Stay focused on that standing leg. Stay focused on your big toe or a point in front of you that's not moving. Slowly we'll come back. Yeah, we can bounce it out. Again, anytime you can soothe your baby in any way that makes sense, that helps them. Yeah, now we're gonna get to Rosie's favorite part. So we're just gonna simply go down into a seated position. Again, we're responding mindfully to our baby's needs, and it seems like Rosie is having enough. It's about 30 minutes until her bedtime, so this was all I could squeeze in today. We're gonna work with that, right, Rosie? So take your time. If you need to put your baby down for a moment and kind of come onto your side to come back onto your back, that's fine. I'm just going to roll back because I've been working on postpartum core for a while, so I can roll back already with control. But if it's still new to you, definitely roll onto your side first. And let's see if she's gonna take this, because what we're gonna do is sit the baby down, onto the hips, onto the front of the hips. Today she might not cooperate, but usually she loves this pose. Finding our feet down in a bridge preparation pose. And if they don't want it, it's okay. Maybe she will take it on her front. Yeah. So we're gonna ground the feet down, hip width apart. We're gonna lift the hips, try to lift from the tailbone curling in first, and then the lower back lifts, the mid back lifts. And baby is trying to reach the microphone, so we're gonna make sure she doesn't get there. Right, Rosie? Yeah, there we go. And if the baby doesn't want it, you can just stay low and take little bridge lifts, reaching the baby up nice and high. Baby's gonna need a diaper change soon. But if the baby is nice and calm, they can lay down onto the front of your hips, and then you can lift high with them. And usually they like the little ride, but it's not always the right mood for them. So once you've had enough, a few bridge lifts, so it's gonna look like this. Yeah, just like that, Rosie. Curl the tailbone under, lift the low back, lift the mid back, and maybe the upper back. And you're doing this first with your baby grounded. But if you're feeling strong and the baby is nice and calm, you can kind of lift them with you in that last lift. Yes. And baby is smiling. We're going to lift and lower. Nice. The next option is to bring the knees in. So we're not going to spend too much time on this, but when they're in a good mood, you can bring them onto your shins carefully, one shin at a time. Baby is going to kind of rest here. And you can just, even if it's a gentle movement, bring your knees in and out, taking it further if they're liking it. And if you're feeling strong in your core, hugging the knees in and extending them out. Okay, let's hug it all in. Separate your legs gently if it feels good. And lay your baby on your chest. Maybe your feet take this kind of happy baby shape, but you don't have to grab for it if you're supporting your baby on your chest. Okay, we're going to plant the feet back down. And maybe you'll have time for a few more cool down stretches. But for now, it looks like Rosie's ready for Savasana. You can always take it like this. But as you can see here, Rosie's a little bit active. So what we're going to do is roll onto the side just a little bit. You can lay your baby down next to you for their version of Savasana next to you. Or sometimes if they're a little bit more active, it helps to take that position on your lap, facing the front of your mat or wherever you are. And just allowing them to settle down with your breath. Closing your eyes. Inhaling to sit tall, crown of your head lengthening towards the ceiling. Exhale, relax the shoulders. This time you can relax and exhale out through your mouth. On the next inhale and exhale, you're going to take an audible sigh. Inhale, sit tall. One more inhale and exhale, audible sigh. Taking a moment to come back to that intention that you've set. Notice where your mind went in any of those challenging moments. Notice your reaction when things didn't go the way you had planned them to be. And notice especially how your baby might have reacted in different moments of the practice. Notice if at the beginning and end with your level of calm, did they stay with you? In the moments of challenge, did they feel your stress? Did they feel your struggle? That's okay, just being aware of that energy transfer and coming back to this breath whenever you need to take that energy down, take it more calm. And slowly blinking your eyes open, thanking yourself for this practice, thanking your baby for joining you, and thank you for joining us. There are many other ways that we can build up on this practice, but again, this is sometimes all we can squeeze in a practice depending on what the baby is handling that day. So just be kind to yourself and be grateful for this time that you're able to spend together. Thanks and have a great practice.